This is Molé Mama. Take a journey with me to my kitchen where I recreate some of my sweet Mama Rosa's best Mexican family recipes. I'll share the stories behind my grandma's magical molcajete, guacamole, crunchy tacos, mole, papas and chorizo chimichangas, Kahlua cake, crack cake, and oh, so much more. You'll also get to meet guest chefs as they share the stories behind their yummy recipes. I believe that food is the sixth language of love. And if you're like me, it's your love that makes your food magical. Tune into Molé Mama on Thursdays at 6 p.m. for all the fun and love. You might want to eat first, because this show is going to make you oh so hungry. Que Dios te bendiga, as my mom would say. May God bless you. Hola y bienvenidos. Welcome to Molé Mama Cooking with Love. We drive connection, unity, acceptance, and love across all cultures and generations. And just want to be very clear that all are welcome here, and we're delighted and grateful to have you listening. You're about to join us for our weekly adventure where we chat with entrepreneurs, chefs, foodies, and artists who are turning their dreams into their reality. We'd love for you to check out our YouTube channel where you can learn to make delicioso guacamole, chimichangas, molcajetes de queso y chorizo fundido, crunchy tacos, enchiladas, flour tortillas, and so much more. Please private message us if you need any help. We'd love to help you make these recipes successful. And please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. So tonight, I can't believe it, everyone. In just 7 days, it's Valentines. We're already in February of 2019. So to help you, if you decide to celebrate Valentine's Day and possibly stay at home, my beautiful prima Eva Zermeño is here with me tonight, who often is on our show. And we're going to be talking all about different food ideas. And because it's Molé Mama, tequila pairings for your Valentine's dishes. So my prima Eva is a tequila expert, so she's going to be giving us the 411 on what to sip on.
Do my best. Hello, everyone.
Hola, prima.
Hola, hola.
So great to have you here while you're recovering from your big surgery. So thank you.
Thank you. 4 weeks tomorrow. Can you believe it?
I can't already. Wow.
Yeah. Still coming along. Still hopping around.
You're going to be dancing, drinking tequila in no time, girlfriend. It's coming.
Oh, I hope so.
Okay. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about all different types of food. So, you're just going to have to decide how much time do you have, how much effort do you want to put into it, but we're going to try to set you up. And we're going to have what I call the diamond level dinners, and we'll tell you what those are in a moment, and then easy things. So we'll go all through the gamut, and all along I brought along my fabulous, like I said, my tequila reina to help us sort out what we should sip on. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is I call what I would consider diamond level, because I consider diamond to be the highest level of anything. So this is a dish that you make for those people that you really love. Like you really, really love them, because this is probably, I don't know what you think, Prima, the hardest thing on the planet to make is tamales. And it takes an army of people to make tamales, right?
Yes, but they're fun to make.
They're fun.
Wow, I have to say, they're fun. They're fun to make. Yeah.
I think if somebody comes over for dinner and they have tamales and it's their first time, they should be like, wow, they must like me, right?
That's nice to know.
Now, come on. It is. It's really, they're a lot of work, but like you said, they're fun. And they're fun because it's also something that you can make that's really about connecting. Because it's not something you should ever attempt on your own. It's just way too much work. And I wanted to just talk to you briefly, Prima, because your family just came to your home while you were recovering from surgery and made tamales, but you were the tamale reina. So first of all, do you want to tell our listeners what a tamale reina is? Because you're one. I'm not. So.
Well, I think that your mom really, really.
Oh, she was. We talked about
it. I mean, it was to the point that so I still have I'm still use my walker to, transport myself from point A to point B, and I don't know what I was ranting and raving about, and I walked from the little dining area to the living room. It's all an open space. Maybe it was 10 feet, maybe 12 feet distance, and I was going off, and I don't know if I was telling them that, they were doing it wrong, just on and on. And then I stopped because I was going to sit down, and I said, "Where's my walker?" And then my daughter, Maria, said, "Mom, you left it over there." And my other daughter, she's out going, "You should rant and rave a little more often because you didn't even notice you were walking away." So I guess if that's the level of being the reina, the queen, then that's it.
Well, it's quality control, right? Because you're trying to make something consistent. And you used to have a restaurant, so it's impossible for you to be quiet, I think, when it comes to tamales. Right?
No. I was on the sofa, and I get up, and I managed to sit there a little bit. I said, I need to do a few. So I think I was only there for like 15 minutes because I really couldn't bend my knee at that point too well yet. But it was fun. It was fun. My granddaughters got in. My older granddaughter was there a little more, helping out. But yeah, just let's do this, and this is what you can do, and you can. But the interesting thing was, my older daughter kind of sounded like me telling my younger daughter, "This is how you have to make the masa. You have to like slam it a little bit because it's going to have the air pockets in it and it's going to fluff the masa more." And and I'm going, "Ooh, she sounds like me." So
that's exactly what I wanted to hear is tips. So it sounds like when you're making your masa to really, you have to masarlo. I don't know how to say that. Mix it really well to get a lot of air into it, right? And you're doing it with your hands.
You're not. It's not mixing it like dough for bread, like with your hands, like kneading it. You're mixing it with your hands and mostly your fingers, but there's a point that that you pick it up and you kind of like slam it down a bit, like parts of it, like you pick up whatever fits in your hand and just slam it down and pick some more inside because you want to create a little bit of air for fluffiness. For it to just like fluff up, because we do put a little bit of baking powder in the mixture. So it sponges the tamal just a bit.
Now, do you guys buy your masa pre-made, or how are you making your masa?
We do both. We when I was a kid, my mom would make my dad's masa because he has stomach issues, so he can't have lard. And when you buy it, usually the binding ingredient is lard. So she would buy it without preparation. It was just the corn that was grinded, and so it had water and cal. So it kind of looked like if you were gonna make tortillas but rougher, it was more coarse. But she would add more ingredients to it because that one didn't have lard. So she would add melted butter, and then she would add cream of rice. She would get the cream of rice and add chicken broth to that. And she'd put a little bit of baking powder. So my mom would prepare my dad's. So now my daughter Giselle has this really delicious recipe that she makes the spinach tamales. They're spinach with it's requesón, and it's similar to ricotta cheese, but she buys. We prepared it, or she prepared it with the grounded already corn flour, and then she added some chicken broth and a little bit of salt and baking powder, and I think she put olive oil. She didn't put butter in these. She put olive oil. Yeah. So, and then this time the other tamales that she made, that we made were pumpkin with chorizo.
Those are
I think she's talked about. Yeah, those are really good too.
They're so good.
And then she made the other ones were apple with cinnamon and raisins.
So I think that's
that's a good combination. Yeah.
Definitely. But I think that's one of the fun things about tamales is you can be so creative. Like your daughters are really being creative. I mean, we grew up just making molé, molé with chicken, molé with pork, and then the rajas with verduras. So basically just chili strips or jalapenos with some vegetables and cheese and other ones. But your daughters have become so experimental and creative. I think it's so fun. When you sent me the pictures of the latest creation, I was like, okay, here's another one. That's fantastic. It's really, really great.
Yes, it's fun. It's fun. And Mariel, she's been on the show also, on your video show, she's very, very health conscious. So she was doing hers all separate because everything she put in hers was organic, everything. So the apples, when she made apples, the apple ones and everything was organic. So it was pretty fun, and fun when we were eating them, of course.
Yeah. Well, we've talked because when I was growing up with my mom, she really was a tamale reina for sure. But we made absolutely everything from scratch, including grinding our corn to make the masa with a hand crank and the whole 9 yards. And then even the last time that we made them together, she was already on oxygen with her compressor and sat at the end of the table and kind of did what you were doing, where she was just supervising everyone. And she was literally quality control. All the tamales had to be passed to her. She reviewed every single one of them, and then she sent them back because she made us tie them. So we made these huge tamales, and you tied them on each end. And it's so hard when you do that because the masa will fall out if there's too much, and if there's not enough, she would send them back for not enough masa. So anyway, so to me, you're like my Mama Junior that's over there. With your poor dog.
We were talking about that. I told you my honey's mom was here. Her name is Rosie. I'm not sure if she's listening tonight, but she came over also. It was really nice to have her here. And I was telling her about your mom, about the tamales that your mom would make, that how you would tie them on both ends. And I'm going, that's too work though. That's too much work.
They're so hard.
Yeah,
we're still talking because it is, like I said, it is diamond level because they're so delicious. But I think the connection and the community that's created when you actually make them together, because it's an effort. Do you have any tips? Okay, so this is where you and I we really deviate on our tamale making. Because I was taught that when you spread the masa onto the hoja, so that is the corn husk, you use a spoon. Yeah. And there's this whole technique about how much you get on your spoon and how you move your spoon and how many swipes you have to make on the hoja. And, that really shows your talent. And then why don't you tell people how you do it? Because it's completely different.
I just use my fingers. I just use my fingers. I can't use a spoon. I mean, I've heard so many times people say that the best cooking tool are your fingers. And this proves weird in tamal making because I can't use a spoon. I don't know. I just grab the masa in my fingers and I just spread it. So
you're a talented woman. That's all I've got to say.
No.
Because I watched it, I'm like, and then now your daughters do it, and I'm like, what? I can't do it. I'm like, I gotta have the spoon. So however you want to do it, listeners, with a spoon, with your hands, it'll work. Just get that masa on the hojas. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, there's lots of recipes available on YouTube and everywhere, but the hojas are really important. So that's the actual husk that you're going to use, and soaking them is really important so that they're pliable, right, Prima? Because I think sometimes people don't understand that you really should soak them. You really should wash them off. And they're just going to be so much easier to work with if they're wet. Do you have anything else to add?
And there is a top side and a bottom side to the corn husk.
Oh, tell them about that.
You have to put the masa on the smoother side. One side, the inside of the corn husk, is smoother. The rough side is the outside. So it really and you can feel the difference when you're putting the masa on the corn husk, spreading it, when it sticks easier on the smooth side, which doesn't make sense, but you would think on the rough side. But on the rough side, it just won't stick the same. It will not stick the same. And you can feel it. You can feel one side to the other.
Yeah, there's like a ridge. There's definitely, I agree. But that's a really good point for our listeners. And the other great thing about tamales is that, when we always make hundreds when I made them, and I think you guys make quite a bit. They freeze really, really, really well. They're something that you can freeze. Yeah. You can freeze them without cooking them, or you can freeze them after they've been cooked, but they freeze really well, so they keep so that you can have them again. And then my favorite leftover tamales is the way my mama used to make them, because she'd fry them in a little water. Yeah. It was just so good.
Yeah, okay. But I agree into freezing them raw instead of freezing them cooked. So we cook some for us to eat for the next few days until you're like, oh, I don't want to look at another tamal, right? But you always have some frozen, but freeze them raw, because then when you cook them, it's like you just made them, as opposed to good. Yeah.
And Cindy's in the chat room. I have to share this with you. She apparently had the opportunity to buy a dozen tamales today and didn't do it. And now she's promising that she'll never do it again because she feels terrible. I know. So I got some yesterday, Cindy, and I didn't get them either. Now I'm like, why do I not have tamales right now? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about tequila, because I want to see what recommendations you would have for, some sipping tequila with tamales. But before we do that, I think it might be good for the listeners for you to just give them a high-level education about tequila. Because before,
in a nutshell.
because before you introduced me to the whole sipping thing, and like, tequila is something you put in margaritas. And you introduced me to it's a sipping. And so you've taken me on this journey, and, taken my husband on this journey with you. And now we are spending way more money than I ever knew possible. It was possible to spend on tequila that you said. So thanks a lot, Prima. But anyway.
I think he's turning into quite the snob. Primo Sean is. I think he is.
And that is all you're doing and your fault. But it's like, wow.
I cannot be alone. That's why.
Yeah, you can't be alone. So could you share just briefly with our listeners, like, there's different types. There's Blanco and Respodado. Yeah. Can you just share the differences?
So the different levels means the different time of aging. So the Blanco, it really doesn't have any aging to it. The Reposado, it's aged usually up to 6 months. Añejo is over 6 months, probably 18 months or so, depending on the distillery, but about 18 months. And then there's extra añejos, but that's usually over 2 years. The different aging process. But also, I recently found out that they're aging blancos, which now it's a whole different door in my mind that's opening, because I thought that blanco is not aged, but I guess they're starting to process that. So that's going to have to be a show within itself when I learn more about that. But
okay, we'll definitely talk about that more.
We'll have to talk about that at a different show, at a different time when I learn more about it. But there is when I was talking about the sweet tamales, I was remembering there is an agave tequila. It's a sweet tequila, and that's what it's called. It's called agavero. And it's in a beautiful blue bottle. Like, it looks like it's like a round type of bottle, and it's like this cactus on it, but it's like a dark blue green. So if anyone wants a sweet tasting, almost like a sherry, that tequila agave. That would be a good dessert one. And I've actually used that in desserts that I've made. Like if I've made for the crème anglaise, for different desserts, for maybe cream puffs that I've made, I've put some of that kind of tequila in the cream puffs, different kick to it. But pretty much the different flavors that you'll get, that I love añejos. Those are the ones that I would recommend to sip. I would not.
Those are the darker ones, right? They're like the darker colored ones.
They're darker, yes, but even within all of the añejos, they have the different hues to them as well. It just depends how it's processed, and it depends what it's aged in. And some of them are aged in barrels, like one of my favorites, which is Resol, is aged in a barrel of cognac, old cognac barrel, so it has this honey flavor to it. Very, very nice to sip, almost like a cognac. I would, if anybody would go ahead and put that mixed with anything, even ice in it, ew, it's like putting your fingernails on chalkboard for me. It's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Okay, and we've
destroying that flavor.
Okay, so Jenny and Melissa and Cindy, they all want to know what our favorites are. Okay, so Prima, you made me like that 1942, which
Don Julio 1942, yeah.
It is amazing. And the other thing that's really remarkable about tequilas is that they are in such gorgeous bottles that seriously, you do not want to throw them away. You're like, when they're empty, you're like, how can I use? Well, and Prima, what's that you gave us, that other tall white and blue bottle that, oh my gosh, that was so good.
Oh, that's Clase Azul. And that one actually is tequila blanco, and I don't mean to knock the blancos, but I'm just not so particular of the blancos. But that one is very good.
I like them, guys. So
that one is a very good blanco. Yes, so that one's called Clase Azul. Yes.
And then there's Don Pilar's, which is really good. His is also a blanco, right? He's got all four. He has the blanco, reposado, añejo, and extra añejo. And Don Pilar son Juan Carlos has been on the show. Yes, I think maybe back in October, November. Yeah, but So there are, and what other favorites do you have? Because those you just mentioned, like my three. So what are some of your? But you are the goddess, so you know.
Well, there's so many new ones out there, and but I'm still kind of in the older ones, and I really like the other one called San Matias. That and I believe that I brought that to your house. It's that really dark bottle. You can't.
Yes,
it's like a black bottle. You can't even see through it. Yeah, that one I like. But and then you have Patron and Don Julio are the two that when you're out, most Mexican restaurants will have those, or if you go to a bar, usually they carry Patron and Don Julio. Those two are pretty good. Herradura is another good one. Herradura, I would definitely use that for margaritas, or mix it with, we like to drink what we call palomas. It's tequila and squirt.
And it's so good,
soda squirt.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so refreshing, isn't it? And we put some green lime. We squeeze the lime in there. Some people like to put salt. I don't think it needs salt. I think it's just perfect with those three ingredients. But and you cannot substitute grapefruit soda or 7-Up or any of those. It has to be squirt. It has to be the squirt soda, not. We've tried to substitute, or people say, "Oh, we didn't find squirt, so here's that." Yeah, I'd rather not. So.
Okay, so we're also being asked to spell some of these. So I'll start with the ones I can spell, and then Prima, maybe you can jump in. But Don Julio is just Don, and then Julio is Julio. And it's Don Julio 1942, because there's many different types of tequila that they have. And then, and then Don Pilar is Don, and Pilar is Pilar. And they just have several different premium tequilas. So if you go and just look for any of their premium ones, I really like the Blanco that they have. And then, Prima, can you spell? Did you say the other one was Casa Azul? It was the really pretty bottle that you.
Yes. So I'm just gonna answer her, so she could have the names
in the chat room
here. Yes. So I just
for other people.
Just put San Matias is one. San Matias and Clase Azul.
Okay.
Is one.
Okay, and then San Matias, for people listening not in the chat room, is SanMatias, and Clase Azul is Clase, Azul, Azul. And somebody else is asking which one for margaritas. And I would say, and my husband would say, it's like, just get the least expensive one, because you're not going to taste the tequila. You really lose the taste of it. And the tequilas that we're talking about are really ones that you really want to sip like you would a brandy or wine. And
I think just the one I mentioned was Herradura for the margaritas.
Okay, so that is spelled Herradura. Okay, so this has been so great talking about your tequilas, but now I'm going to put you on the spot. So the tamales that your daughters made this week, and I know you can't have any tequila right now because you're on pain meds, but if you could have had tequila this week with those amazing tamales that your daughters made, which one would you have had?
I think I probably would have had probably San Matias. Probably with the spinach and the requesón and spinach ones. I probably would have done a San Matias because it's a very light, flavored, not so overpowering. And I feel that that combination of requesón and the spinach tamal, it's just very it was a light kind of tamal, not very heavy either. So I think that would have went well together.
Okay.
And probably for the chorizo with the pumpkin tamal. I'm thinking that even though I'm not really, I'd rather have my tequila neat, and I think you know that, Prima. But I'll have a margarita from time to time. But I think that with that tamal, I probably would have preferred a margarita or a paloma.
Yeah, I was going to say paloma too. Yeah, because those are. I think that paloma drink that you mentioned with spicy food is good. It's really good.
Yes, because it refreshes. It's very refreshing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't know the measurements because we just how would I say chorro? Like a splash, I guess.
It's a splash.
A splash of this, a splash of that. That's how we, how we measure.
Yeah, I don't know. I would do equal parts or more squirt. I don't know. I think you just have to play with it, but it's a really interesting combination. I know the first time I had them, I was like, wow, these are actually really good.
Yeah, okay. Be careful though, because you could just sip them quickly.
You can kind of drink them like lemonade and Kool-Aid. They're just like
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So far we've gotten through talking about tamales in the group, but the other thing that you can always do anytime, and people love, and guys are not very hard, is to make tacos. Make the crunchy tacos that I make on my YouTube channel. And you can put in those, and all it is just making your own tortilla shells. And all you're going to do is just fry corn tortillas. Some of my family is making me do flour lately, so you can do flour or corn. Make sure that the tortillas are at room temperature. I always use corn oil. If you decide to use another oil, that's fine. I actually like the flavor of corn oil when I'm doing crunchy tacos. And when you put your oil in any kind of nonstick pan, you just put a little bit in so that the tortilla at least is going to be halfway kind of under the oil. You can put more if you want. But then you just use, you can use a wood spoon to drop it in the oil to test to see if it's hot enough to go. And once it starts bubbling around that wood spoon, it's ready. And you just drop them in, and they're super, super easy. And you can put anything in them, and people are most likely going to love them. Right, Prima? I like to use ground beef, but the other one that doesn't get talked about very much, that a lot of us, when we make them at home, we use potatoes, like mashed potatoes with a little onion. Oh, my gosh. Those things are so good. If you put mashed potatoes in a fried corn tortilla, I know that we're not talking about health. We're talking about love, but it's just, they're so good.
That's right.
And I think
but you could fill them with anything, shredded chicken. But the potato tacos are one of my favorites. And we both talked about, I like putting cheese, jack cheese or queso Oaxaca in them.
Well, then that's the toppings, right? You can top them with anything that you want. Tomatoes and cilantro and chiles, serranos and jalapenos and salsa, whatever you want. But if you really want to make them feel special, make guacamole too to go along with them.
That's right. Go on YouTube and find one of Mama's guacamole.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's really, really yummy. And I just know that all the times they made tacos, people are just happy. I don't know what it is. People just get very happy around tacos. It's just something the fried. I don't know, but
you don't even know how many you eat either. It's just at least when we're at your house, we just go.
Yeah, and you can always make soft tacos, but crunchy ones are extra special. And so, Prima, what would you recommend? You know my tacos, my beef tacos. What tequila would you recommend if somebody was going to make tacos?
I would probably do between another margarita with the crunchy tacos, Or, I think I'm a little bit stumped.
What?
I think I would rather stick with margarita also. Just because sometimes with the flavor, when it's an overpowering flavor, then I like to keep it light on one end or even. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So probably I would say that herradura that I really like. I prefer that in the margaritas. But you can probably also do a San Matias if you want to sip. I would probably do a San Matias sipped neat. I should say.
Okay. So since margaritas have come up a couple of times, I know that my hubby and you I think he's perfected margaritas, and he's not using mix anymore. He's using fresh lime juice. And then I forget what else. I just know they're so good.
Yes, they are.
He's using lime juice, and what else is he using? Do you know?
I don't know, because I don't think I've seen him make it. He just says, "Here, try this. Here, try this. I know you're not really into margaritas, but here, try this."
Yeah, because it's lime juice and it's some other alcohol that he drops in there, and it's supposed to float on top, and he mixes it. I'm gonna have to ask him later, and I'll post it in the chat room. But oh my gosh, they are so good. So he doesn't use a mix at all. Do you use a mix when you make yours, Prima?
Well, that's just the thing. I don't make them.
Okay,
I don't make margaritas. If I have a margarita, it's usually because someone's making it for me, or they'll, please just try. I made a blended margarita and I made this one. Or every now and then, if I go to a restaurant and I see an interesting combination of a margarita, like maybe prickly pear margarita, or pomegranate, I may want to try it, but I normally don't make them. I get the lazy way out. I just pour it straight into it, the tequila straight into the glass, into the shot glass, and I sip it. That's my easy way to drink.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get him a secret. So I guess for our listeners, my recommendation, if you don't have a great mix, is look for a recipe that uses real lime juice. Freshly squeezed lime juice. It makes such a huge difference. I
agree, though. I agree, because the ones he's made. But does he do simple syrup in there?
No, it's a bottle. I'm trying to remember what the bottle. I'll think about it. But he does, like you said, he does it kind of on the sly. It's on the lowdown.
Yeah, here, go try this. Here, go try this.
Yeah. So something else he puts in it, but it's so good. All right. So the next way you can show your love on Valentine's Day, or any day of the year for that matter, is Prima and mine's favorite, cheesy love, right? Prima, anything with cheese, with lots of cheese.
Cheese.
Yes. So on my YouTube channel, I have a recipe for a molcajete chorizo queso fundido con rajas. So what that is all it is a chorizo, which is Mexican sausage, cheese dip with some chili peppers. So I use poblano chilies in it, and I put it in a molcajete, and I throw it in the oven, and it just looks pretty. And it's a really good dip, right, Prima? I mean, it's like people...
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. You can have it with chips. You can have it with tortillas. You can... Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. It's super simple to prepare, too. It's probably like 15 minutes of just throwing some ingredients, mixing them together, and that's it. It's very, very simple. And then the other thing, you can always make enchiladas. That's recipes on my YouTube channel too. These are dishes that I don't know why, Prima, but men love these, right? The tacos, the enchiladas, and the molcajete chorizo. Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know. I'm just saying. And then I have also been making homemade pizza for a while, and I've tried lots of different types of dough, pre-made dough, because that is a lot of work, and I am not the baker. Prima is the great baker. I love Whole Foods pie crust. It comes frozen. You just let it defrost, and it kind of raises, and then you roll it out. And you can be so creative. And one of my husband's favorite pizzas that I've been making is my chorizo and papas pizza.
Oh, and that's really good. Yeah.
And it's, again, I mean, it's chorizo, and it is some caramelized onions. And I usually will use either sliced red potatoes or white potatoes. I also put on there a manchego cheese, and it has just olive oil and a little garlic. And it's simple, but so good. So, and then of course you do a cheese and fruit tray, because I mean, who doesn't like that if they are a cheese fan, right, Prima? Like we dinner all the time, right?
Right. Oh yeah, cheese. Cheese is good for breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, evening snack. Cheese is good for all day long.
Okay, we're also getting questions about what is good for a tequila hangover. I don't know. Prima, do you know?
I wrote grapefruit juice or coconut water. That's what I use usually, one or the other. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of getting the electrolytes back into your body.
Wow, I did not know that. So grapefruit juice?
Okay. Grapefruit juice, or I use an essential oil, grapefruit essential oil, put some drops in a glass, and then put water in there. If you don't have grapefruit juice, you could use a grapefruit essential oil or coconut water. Either works.
Okay, did not know that. I should have known that a long time ago. Because, I just remember,
me too.
I used to like tequila sunrises. I don't do those anymore, but I did a long time ago.
Yeah, I have not been really a fan of tequila sunrise either. I think those are a little too sweet for me. Tequila sunrise.
Yeah, they're not fuerte enough. So for our listeners, fuertes.
They're not.
Say you're because sometimes when we go out to dinner, you're getting a drink. You're like, what do you say? You say it.
It's not fuerte. That means it's not strong enough. Like the pink drinks, those yellow lemon drinks. Those are just, to me, it's just all sweet sugar, and it's not strong. I like the stronger. I like to be able to taste what is supposed to be in there. So but Primo, he likes to tease me and go fuerte. Yes. Like it's not strong. Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe we need Molé Mama t-shirts that say fuerte.
That's right. With taco and tequilas on them.
I think so. I think that would be great. That sounds like a great idea, Prima.
I believe so.
Okay. And the next thing is sweet love, because Valentine's Day, it's all about making all kinds of sweet treats. If you just want to have, I have no problem with that. It's just having dessert for dinner sometimes.
Yeah, and I agree.
Especially if I can get my Prima to make me her Mexican chocolate cupcakes. Or not cupcakes, sorry, your brownies. Oh my God.
Brownies, yeah.
Oh, goodness. See, that was a Freudian. Yeah. So that means that I must want you to try to make cupcakes out of them too. They're so good.
Yeah, that should be a little project when I'm able to not hobble around and I'm able to actually stand a little better. Yeah.
And your Mexican wedding cookies, I don't know.
It's been a while since I've made those, like a couple years.
Years and years. It's a miracle that I remember what those taste like. It's been so long. You made this for me. So, and I have my chocolate cupcake recipe, which on my YouTube channel with the cream cheese and chocolate filling, if you guys want to try that out. And then I also on my website, I have a Kahlua cake recipe that it's so good, right? And it's just a cake mix with sour cream, Kahlua, and chocolate chips. That's it. And you throw it in a bundt pan and you put a little bit of powdered sugar on it when it's cool, and it looks amazing, and people love that one too.
Yeah, that's really good, yeah.
And you can make lazy buñuelos, which is just making buñuelos out of flour tortillas and frying your flour tortilla, cutting it into like little pizza squares, and then throwing it in a Ziploc bag with sugar and cinnamon, shaking it up, and then taking them out and maybe serving it with ice cream or by itself. Also, a crowd pleaser. People love those.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Okay, so Prima, if you're going to be eating sweets, what tequila would you recommend? I know that you touched on this earlier. The sweet tequilas, you said?
The sweet tequilas, but not if your dessert is too sweet, because then it's sweet, and very sweet, right? But I would probably do maybe a reposado instead of an añejo. I would do a reposado with that, because sometimes the añejos have a sweet. Some of them have a little bit of honey. Some of them are a little smoky, and I think that the reposado, those are the ones that I like to mix with. But I think that any reposado brand that you choose would be good to go with the dessert. That way you're not taking too much flavor from the dessert or from the tequila itself.
You know, I always warn our listeners to eat before they tune in, and then I don't. And now right now,
you're hungry.
I'm so hungry. Oh, no. All right. Okay. And then another one was, I just called it Mi Vida Love, because I think one of the nicest things that you can do for anybody that you're going to cook for is really cook for them and what they like to eat. And some of us, right. And so sometimes when you know someone really, really well, I have a picture that I took of I did this. It was a cheese board / linguiça board for my husband, because he loves linguiça. He loves fruit, and linguiça is a pork sausage. It's a Portuguese sausage that's really delicious grilled. And he also loves bread. So I have rosemary bread. I have pan queso, which is also a Portuguese bread that has cheese in it. And then I think not pictured there is Red Lobster is actually selling their bread mix now at Costco. So you can actually make their biscuits at home, and they're like all so deadly. So this is, I think, last year's Valentine's Day, I just did like his favorite food, and he was very, very happy. So I think most of us, our families or friends, just being focused on what they are really going to enjoy sometimes is really a nice thing to do, right, Prima?
Yes, I agree. I know, like my granddaughter Andrea, she loves that. She's such a foodie, Prima. That Andrea, she's only she's 10. She'll be 11 in a few months, but she loves the different cheeses as well. So yeah, I agree. Giving someone what they like, that's perfect, because then they feel all the love on one platter.
So Prima, what would you make for me to help me feel all the love from you?
Oh, that's easy. Cheese. Cheese, and maybe 3 crackers.
What else? Just talking about it.
Like different kinds of cheeses and chocolate. And chocolates. That's what I would get for you. And I know there's a lot of other foods that you love, but yeah.
Yeah, I am so cheese. You're absolutely right. Oh my gosh. And
no, I know there's.
We didn't mention this, but your cheesecakes. Oh.
Listen, I was thinking about that because a few years ago I did make. I had a little. I would do a little bit of catering here and there, and I would make for Valentine's heart-shaped cheesecakes. Those were fun. Some of them were mini, like you'd finish them like 3 bites. Some of them were a little bigger. Those were fun to make. Yeah.
I hope someday you decide to sell your cheesecakes to the world because they're so good. They should be shared. Except that, like, when you make them for me, I just hide them in the refrigerator and don't share. But you know what I mean? More people should have the opportunity to hide theirs in the refrigerator, not share with everyone because they're so delicious. But that's another really great tip is if you are going to make some food for people that's special for them, is to do them in fun heart shapes. Is a really fun thing to do. I know that many years ago, when my sons were still living with us, and my sons and my husband, they all love meatloaf, and I actually found a pan and I made them a heart meatloaf, so with bacon on it. So
that's cute. Yeah.
It looked
what did they do? Were they all excited when they saw it?
Well, here's what happened. So when I put it all together, I took it out of the heart mold and it looked really cool. And I had bacon kind of crisscrossed across it. So it looked very pretty raw. But when I cooked it, it looked like a burnt heart, which isn't that great. So
oh, no. Oh, no.
You may not want to try meatloaf, but you might try other things. But anyway, it was
you could bake bread. Yeah.
Bread, cookies, a cheese loaf. So
yes.
So most definitely. So Prima, if I was going to make food for you for Valentine's Day, I wouldn't be making you any fish because I know that you don't like that. I wouldn't make you any oysters because I don't like those. But,
no, you don't, but I do.
I know, but I'd have to touch them, and I don't like oysters to the point I don't even touch them. That's probably one of the only foods I feel that way about. I would probably make you some of my crunchy pork molé because I think you like that quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I love pork. Love pork, yes. That would be great. So I could be your Valentine. You have a week to make it. That's fine with me.
Yeah. Okay, and so if I made you the crunchy pork mole, which is spicy, and if you didn't have a margarita mix ready to go and you wanted to sip on a little tequila, what would it be? What would be your all-time, or maybe tell me what your all-time favorite is. Do you have one?
My all-time favorite tequila?
Mm-hmm.
It has been this one called Resol. But I would have to say probably 1942. Don Julio 1942. I would probably have that one with the crunchy pork mole.
Yeah, and I would have to say that I love 1942, but that Casel Azul that you got us, that I think for me is even better. It's a little bit, it's not as strong as 1942, and you know me, I'm a lightweight, so that's probably why I
You're
like
not
it.
Fuerte.
I am not fuerte. I'm the opposite of that. I'm like, you make it a light one, whatever you do. Well, Prima, it has been so much fun to talk to you tonight about Valentine's Day. Thank you so much for being on the show. Well, I know that you're trying to heal. It's always a delight to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for sharing all of your tequila wisdom with me and our listeners. It was so fun to learn more about tequila. And continue to heal. I want to...
thank you.
Okay. So thank you for listening to our show. Many thanks to our fabulous producer, VDay. Remember to add the most important ingredient to every recipe you make, your love. And as my mama always said to me as we said our goodbyes, que Dios te bendiga, may God bless you. Soul to Soul, Nancy Newman is up next, so please stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to Molé Mama Cooking with Love. Have a wonderful evening and weekend.
Thank you for tuning in to Molé Mama. Remember to add love to every recipe you make. It is your secret ingredient. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and check out our YouTube channel and make those yummy recipes for your loved ones and connect and have fun and enjoy. Que Dios te bendiga. May God bless you.